हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू योर चैनल लॉपीडिया। सो आज के हम अपने इस वीडियो में समझेंगे सम ऑफ द की एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द एक्ट विच रिसेंटली केम इनटू फोर्स, दैट इज योर कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट 2019। सो बिफोर मूविंग फॉरवर्ड एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग द एक्ट, हम ये जान लेते हैं दैट द कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट 2019 केम इनटू फोर्स इन द मंथ ऑफ जुलाई 2020 and it repealed the Consumer Protection Act 1986. So सबसे पहला पॉइंट यहाँ पे ये आता है, what was the need of a new Consumer Protection Act? So the consumer rights have drastically changed over the previous decades because of the introduction of technology, the introduction of e-commerce and various other mechanisms for conducting business. So जब हमारा business ही evolve हो गया, there was a revolution in the conduct of the business itself. There was a requirement to change the Consumer Protection Act along with the same. And secondly, the change in the consumers' affordability and propensity to spend. So अगर आपने ऑब्जर्व किया होगा, the previous 10 to 15 years में consumers की spending capacity relatively काफी increase हुई है. Thus, the formulation of Consumer Protection Act 2019 is an attempt to update the various aspects जो कि change हुए हैं हमारे within the 10 to 15 years. The Consumer Protection Act 2019 gives consumers more control over quality of goods and services being provided by the corporations. And your Consumer Protection Act 2019 deals with Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, mediation as a method of resolution of disputes, liability of services or products, spurious products and products which contain adulterant. So क्या provisions है in case में? What all penalties can be imposed in such cases? We'll just be studying in this particular video. Now, some of the other key features that you must be aware about when you are reading the Consumer Protection Act are: the Act provides for establishment of Central Consumer Protection Authority. In the next slide, we'll be understanding that what is Central Consumer Protection Authority. Apart from that, another interesting aspect is e-commerce platforms have been brought under the ambit of Consumer Protection Act 2019. That means if you read your act under section 94, the central government may take such measures for the purpose of preventing unfair trade practices in the e-commerce sector. Along with that, आपका act define भी करता है what you mean by e-commerce. Another very important thing under the act would be that the complainant can now institute a complaint within the territorial jurisdiction of the commission where the complainant resides or the person works for gain. So दो aspects हैं यहाँ पे when we are talking about territorial jurisdiction of registering the complaint. कहाँ पे आप अपनी complaint register कर सकते हैं? One is where you reside and second is where you personally work for gain. So another important aspect जो यहाँ पे you must be aware about is the act also focuses on misleading advertisements. That means act एक form of social pressure भी create कर सकता है on celebrities endorsing brands. As a result, celebrity branding may no longer be an easy route for marketing of products. Now we need to understand what is this Central Consumer Protection Authority. So basically, आपका act provides for that the central government by notification can create a Central Consumer Protection Authority. And ये authority क्या करेगी? It will look into the prevention of unfair trade practices. It will overall regulate the matters related to violation of rights of the consumer, and it will promote and protect the rights of the consumer. And it shall consist of chief commissioner and other commissioners. Also, the central authority shall have an investigation wing for conducting inquiry and investigation under the act. So, जो आपकी ये सेंट्रल कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन अथॉरिटी होगी, इसका एक इन्वेस्टिगेशन विंग भी होगा which will be responsible for conducting investigation or an inquiry under the act. Another important fact is ये suo motu भी action ले सकती है or it can take action on the basis of the complaint filed. Another important factor or the power of the Central Consumer Protection Authority is power to recall. What do you understand by power to recall? आपकी सेंट्रल कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन अथॉरिटी को ये पावर दी गई है दैट इफ इट इज सेटिस्फाइड कि सफिशिएंट एविडेंस एग्जिस्ट करता है टू शो वायलेशन ऑफ अ कंज्यूमर राइट बाय अनफेयर ट्रेड प्रैक्टिसेस बाय अ पर्सन, आपकी अथॉरिटी ऑर्डर कर सकती है recalling of goods, that means withdrawal of goods or services that are hazardous or dangerous in nature. That means market से उस गुड या उस सर्विस को विड्रॉ कर सकती है. रिकॉल की पावर दी गई है सेंट्रल कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन अथॉरिटी. साथ ही साथ इट कैन ऑर्डर रीइंबर्समेंट ऑफ द प्राइसेस. Along with that, it can order discontinuation of practices that may impact the consumer's interest. Along with these powers, Central Consumer Protection Authority डायरेक्शंस भी इशू कर सकती है टू कंसर्न ट्रेडर और मैन्युफैक्चरर टू डिसकंटिन्यू और मॉडिफाई एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स. नाउ लेट्स सी अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट मैकेनिज्म. अगर कोई भी कंज्यूमर राइट वायलेट होती है, 3 स्टेप मैकेनिज्म दिया गया है फॉर एड्रेसिंग द डिस्प्यूट ऑफ कंज्यूमर. And your district consumer dispute redressal commission can hear cases up to 1 crore. The state consumer dispute redressal commission hear कर सकता है cases from 1 to 10 crore, and the national consumer dispute redressal commission will hear the cases which are valued above 10 crore. Thus एक 3 step mechanism है जहां पे consumers can file a complaint with respect to unfair or restrictive trade practices, defective goods or services, or overcharging and deceptive charging. An appeal of District Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission will lie to the State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, and an appeal of State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission will lie to the National Dispute Redressal Commission, and the final appeal will lie to the Supreme Court of India. So I hope आपको 3 step process clear है which has been established for addressing the disputes of consumer. Now your chapter 5 of the Consumer Protection Act 2019 talks about mediation. So ये एक another important aspect है जहां पे we are considering mediation as a form for dispute resolution to save the time of judiciary. So एक्ट प्रोवाइड करता है कि एक कंज्यूमर मीडिएशन सेल अटैच होगा टू डिस्ट्रिक्ट कमीशंस, स्टेट कमीशंस एज वेल एज नेशनल कमीशंस फॉर द सेटलमेंट बिटवीन पार्टीज, और इसी के लिए अपॉइंट होगा एक मीडिएटर. सो नाउ एक पर्सन अपॉइंट होगा हु विल बी द मीडिएटर, जो कि एग्रीमेंट एस्टैब्लिश करने की कोशिश करेगा बिटवीन बोथ द पार्टीज, विच विल बी again given to the concerned commission. And then the commission shall pass suitable order recording such settlement of consumer dispute within 7 days. And that's the whole mediation mechanism stated under your Consumer Protection Act 2019. Now your act talks about product liability. That means product liability action एक complaint होती है which is filed by a person before district commission or state commission or national commission, as the case may be, for claiming compensation for harm caused to him. So now what are the various aspects of product liability? First, you can file a product liability action against product manufacturer or product service provider or the product seller. Now the product liability action जो आप फाइल करेंगे अगेंस्ट द प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर, वो आप कब फाइल कर सकते हैं? इन केस प्रोडक्ट में कोई डिफेक्ट है, देयर इज सम डिफेक्टिव डिजाइन, देयर इज सम डेविएशन फ्रॉम द स्पेसिफिकेशंस, कोई वारंटी में प्रॉब्लम है, नो इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैव बीन स्पेसिफाइड. सो तब आप एक प्रोडक्ट लाइबिलिटी एक्शन फाइल कर सकते हैं अगेंस्ट द प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर. नाउ इन केस ऑफ सर्विसेज व्हाट हैपेंस इज, इन केस सर्विस ही फॉल्टी है, there is no quality, this withholding of information, so in that case you can file a suit against the product service provider. In case of product seller, आप उसे liable कर सकते हैं in the cases product seller has a substantial control over the designing, testing, marketing or packaging of the product, और जब product seller ने कोई alteration करी है or there is a failure on the part of product seller with respect to reasonable care in assembling the product. So जब कोई failure होगा by the product seller with respect to the assembling, inspecting और maintaining the product, आप उसके against file कर सकते हैं product liability action. So I hope आपको तीनों cases clear हैं. When can you file it against product manufacturer? When can you file it against product service provider? When can you file it against product seller? There are three key aspects यहाँ पे. Product manufacturer are not liable for failure to warn about danger that is obvious. Now अगर कोई danger है जो कि बहुत obvious है and you must know while you're purchasing that product, मतलब वो उसका key feature या key characteristic है, then the product manufacturer will not be held liable in case उससे कोई harm होता है. Next is no action against product seller if at the time of harm the product was misused, altered or modified. Now अगर कोई harm हुआ है and at the time of harm the product was actually misused, मतलब कोई गलत use हो रहा था product का, या product कुछ alteration process में था या कुछ modification करी थी product में, तो आप product seller को liable नहीं कर सकते. Next, the complainant at the time of using the product was under the influence of alcohol. So इस केस में भी आप प्रोडक्ट लाइबिलिटी एक्शन नहीं मेंटेन कर पाएंगे. सो आई होप आपको बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू प्रोडक्ट लाइबिलिटी एक्शन. सो नाउ लेट्स कम टू अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट ऑफ योर एक्ट, दैट इज ऑफेंसेस एंड पेनल्टीज. सो आपका एक्ट प्रोवाइड करता है पनिशमेंट फॉर फॉल्स और मिसलीडिंग एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स. दैट मीन्स अगर कोई मैन्युफैक्चरर या सर्विस प्रोवाइडर कॉज करता है एक फॉल्स और मिसलीडिंग एडवर्टाइजमेंट को to influence the interest of the consumer, the act provides for imprisonment of a term of 2 years with fine of rupees 10 lakh. And अगर ये offense वो दोबारा commit करता है, then in case of subsequent commission of the offense, the imprisonment is 5 years and the fine is 50 lakh. So that is the amount in cases of false or misleading advertisement. The next important thing act provide करता है is penalties in cases of product that contain adulterant. Adulterant basically ऐसा material होता है जो कि use होता है to make the food unsafe or substandard. So now the act provides that in case any person engages in the manufacture, sale, storage or distribution of any product containing adulterant, in cases में the act provides for punishment for 6 months to life imprisonment depending upon how much damage the product has caused to the consumer. And the act also provides that in case the product contained an adulterant and इसकी वजह से consumer को grievous hurt cause हुई है या this resulted in the death of the consumer, it shall be treated as cognizable and non-bailable offense. Now another important offense or penalty is in case of your spurious goods. ये ऐसे goods होते हैं जो actually में false और fake होते हैं and they only appear to be genuine. So what happens in those cases? So act कहता है anybody who's responsible for manufacture, sale, storage or the distribution of such goods shall be punished, and इसकी punishment range करती है from 1 year to the extent of life imprisonment depending upon कितना डैमेज कॉज हुआ है कंज्यूमर को बाय द यूजेज ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट. एंड दैट सम्स अप all the components that we had to cover for our Consumer Protection Act. So I hope आपको ये act absolutely clear है. Thank you so much for watching and please do subscribe so that you are notified, and do let me know in the comment section down below अगर आपका कोई भी doubt है relating to your Consumer Protection Act 2019. Till then, stay home, stay safe and keep learning.